In this video, we will delve into the enigmatic events that transpired in Los Angeles in the year 2013, sending shockwaves across the globe. The central character in this enigmatic story was a young Chinese-Canadian girl named Elisa Lam. Born in 1991, she hailed from immigrant parents who had moved to Canada from Hong Kong in the 1990s, where they ventured into the restaurant business. Elisa Lam completed her high school education at Vancouver's Sir Winston Churchill Secondary School, and then pursued psychology at the University of British Columbia. Her classmates described her as a cheerful and friendly individual. However, it was during a solo trip to the United States that this young girl's life took a mysterious turn. Let's rewind the clock to January 2013 to understand what transpired that month. January in North America is known for its bitter cold, and it was during this time that the 21-year-old Elisa Lam, still a university student in Vancouver, made the decision to travel to California all by herself. Her parents weren't entirely supportive of this idea, as they had concerns about their daughter, given that she was a young woman embarking on a solo international journey. However, Elisa persisted, and after her repeated insistence, her parents reluctantly agreed. They had one condition: she must promise to speak with them over the phone every day. With their approval, Elisa left Canada and ventured into the United States, traveling by intercity bus. She headed south, visiting the San Diego Zoo and sharing pictures of her joyful exploration on social media. In the eyes of outsiders, she appears lively, cheerful, warm-hearted, and constantly wearing a smile on her face. On January 26th, she arrived in Los Angeles, where her story takes an unexpected and perplexing turn. She visited the famous Last bookstore in the city, participated in the recording of a TV show, and wrote optimistic messages on her blog. On January 28th, Elisa Lam checked into the Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles. Now, the Cecil Hotel is no ordinary establishment. It was originally constructed in 1927 and boasted 14 stories with over 700 rooms. Due to its prime location in the heart of Los Angeles, the hotel primarily catered to business travelers when it first opened in the 1920s. However, as the 1930s rolled in, it slowly transformed into a hub for unsavory characters and miscreants. In 1947, the Cecil Hotel became infamous for the shocking Black Dahlia murder, where the murderer brutally killed and dismembered the American actress Elizabeth Short, leaving her remains in an empty lot nearby. The last known location of the victim was, you guessed it, the Cecil Hotel. The hotel's dark history didn't stop there. Notorious serial killers Richard Ramirez and Jack Unterweger each stayed at the Cecil Hotel in 1985 and 1991 respectively. Additionally, the Cecil Hotel has been the site of numerous other unfortunate incidents, including several suicides, earning it the nickname Death Hotel. Despite this dark history, the hotel continued to operate, albeit in a different capacity. Over time, it transformed into a budget accommodation, somewhat akin to a youth hostel, allowing multiple individuals to share a room and thus offering lower prices. With affordability in mind, Elisa Lam chose to stay at the Cecil Hotel on January 28th. She initially shared a room on the 5th floor with strangers, but it didn't take long for her roommates to become unnerved by Elisa's peculiar behavior. In a matter of days, her roommates couldn't bear it any longer, prompting Elisa to move into a single room on the 14th floor. Throughout her solo journey in California, Elisa remained faithful to her promise to her parents, speaking with them over the phone every day. However, on January 31st, an eerie and unsettling silence filled the line as Elisa's parents anxiously awaited her call. As originally planned, on this day, Elisa Lam was supposed to check out of the Cecil Hotel and make her way to Santa Cruz. However, her parents, who had been in constant contact with her, suddenly lost all communication with their daughter. They were in Vancouver, and their mounting anxiety told them that something was terribly wrong. Without hesitation, they picked up the phone and called the Los Angeles Police Department, hoping for their assistance in locating their missing daughter. The Los Angeles Police received the distress call and dispatched officers to the Cecil Hotel. Within the boundaries of the law, they conducted a thorough search of Elisa's room. Unfortunately, their efforts yielded no substantial leads. There was no trace of her, her luggage remained, and there were no signs of a struggle in the room. Yet, they were unable to search other guest rooms in the hotel, and Elisa remained nowhere to be found. Continuing their investigation, the police's search efforts extended to a nearby bookstore. The bookstore manager, Katie Orphan, shared valuable information with the authorities. She had seen Elisa at her store, describing her as an outgoing, lively, and exceptionally friendly young woman. According to the manager, it appeared that Elisa was shopping for books to bring back as gifts, as she was overheard discussing which books to purchase and whether they would be too heavy to carry while traveling. By February 6th, a full week had passed since Elisa's mysterious disappearance. It was at this point that the Los Angeles police decided to post flyers featuring Elisa's photo in the vicinity of the hotel and share them online, in the hopes that someone, somewhere, might hold the key to unraveling the perplexing enigma surrounding her vanishing act. With the release of the hotel elevator surveillance video on February 15th, the case of Elisa Lam's disappearance was thrust into the public eye. It was this 4-minute video that caused the news of Elisa's vanishing to explode across major social networks. Let's take a look at the video together. According to the authorities, the video was recorded on February 1st. In the footage, we see Elisa Lam entering the elevator, where she stands with a slightly exaggerated posture close to the control panel. She proceeds to press buttons for all the floors, starting from the top and going down. As she does so, the elevator door seems to slightly close, only to immediately reopen. Later, she slowly approached the elevator door, swiftly peering outside, only to retract her head just as quickly. Elisa then steps into a corner of the elevator, seemingly trying to hide herself. After a moment, she exits the elevator. What follows are a series of bizarre actions that are genuinely unsettling. Elisa spreads her arms out and moves them up and down, creating an eerie and uncomfortable sight. Then, she contorts her fingers in an odd manner. 15 seconds later, she vanishes from the surveillance screen, and the elevator door finally closes, resuming its normal operation. This video catapulted the disappearance case to unprecedented heights, sending shockwaves through global media and triggering a frenzy of discussion and speculation overnight. Elisa Lam's series of actions in the elevator were reminiscent of scenes one might only expect in a horror film. Yet, these chilling events unfolded in stark reality. This gave rise to various interpretations by media and online communities. Some theorized that Elisa was attempting to evade someone who was following her, and that person kept pressing the button outside the elevator, preventing it from closing. However, others observed that when Elisa initially entered the elevator, her demeanor seemed relatively normal, lacking overt signs of panic. This led them to speculate that she might have been waiting for someone to join her in the elevator. The range of interpretations sparked intense debates, as everyone eagerly awaited the police's efforts to locate Elisa. Her return would potentially solve the enigma surrounding her peculiar actions that fateful day. According to a report from the Omni television channel, a close friend who had known Elisa for 12 years, from elementary school through university, was perplexed by her behavior in the elevator surveillance video. This friend explained that the Cecil Hotel was known for harboring an assortment of peculiar individuals, and the surrounding area had a reputation for drug-related issues. Consequently, this friend strongly suspected that Elisa might have been drugged. Adding to the intrigue, a person claiming to be Elisa's friend posted an online image of a postcard supposedly sent by Elisa. The postcard bore Elisa's signature and contained unsettling phrases such as creeping and pilgrimage, further shrouding the case in mystery. As the bizarre details of the case continued to fuel discussions, Elisa Lam's former residence, the Cecil Hotel, also came under intense scrutiny. The hotel saw a surge in visitors, with numerous tourists flocking to the site to get a first-hand look. The sudden increase in visitors led to fully booked rooms and even price hikes. Locals also took it upon themselves to visit the scene to conduct amateur investigations, hoping to unravel the various paranormal legends that had been circulating online. On the morning of February 19th, a hotel guest complained about low water pressure and a strange odor emanating from their room. The hotel promptly dispatched maintenance personnel to inspect the water tanks on the rooftop. To their shock, upon lifting the tank cover, they discovered a lifeless body within, sending them into a panic. The police were called immediately. Upon arrival, the police found the lifeless body of a young woman submerged in the water tank. Her head was pointing down, and her body was unnaturally twisted, with the water level in the tank about 2/3 full. Given the body's position at the bottom of the tank, retrieval was a challenging task. Over 20 firefighters were summoned to the scene, and it took significant effort to cut open the side of the water tank with an electric saw to recover the body. It was a grim discovery, and the victim was identified as Elisa Lam, the Canadian-Chinese girl who had been missing for over half a month. Some clothing items similar to those she wore in the elevator surveillance video were found floating in the water tank, along with her wristwatch and room key. On February 21st, the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office released preliminary autopsy results, revealing that Elisa Lam had died from accidental drowning on February 1st. In other words, from February 1st until the discovery of her body on February 19th, the entire Cecil Hotel had been consuming water that had been in contact with her remains. The body was highly swollen from immersion in the water, and there were no apparent external injuries or signs of sexual assault. The comprehensive autopsy report was not made public until 4 months later, in June. The 27-page report concluded that there is no residual presence of drugs in her body, except for prescription medications used to treat mental illness. These medications include lamotrigine, quetiapine, and venlafaxine, which are typically used to treat conditions such as bipolar disorder or depression. It is possible that Elisa suffered from a severe form of bipolar disorder, also known as manic depressive disorder. This condition is characterized by mood swings that can fluctuate rapidly between episodes of depression and mania within the same day. It was for these reasons the police suggested that Elisa Lam's accidental drowning might have been a result of her mental health condition. She entered the elevator, pressed the hold door button, causing the elevator doors to stay open. In a state of mental confusion, she believed she was being pursued and desperately tried to hide. She waved her arms, left the elevator, turned left down the corridor, opened a window, and climbed up the escape ladder to the roof. To escape her perceived pursuer, she climbed into the water tank along the ladder, eventually led to the tragic outcome. The police also speculated that Elisa's decision to remove her clothing could have been due to low temperatures, or possibly an attempt to stay afloat in the water. It's worth noting that the water tank cover was indeed open when maintenance workers first discovered her. Subsequently, Elisa's sister confirmed that Elisa had indeed refused to take medication and had experienced several mental breakdowns, including episodes of delusional thinking where she saw things that didn't exist. Her condition had become so severe at times that she required hospitalization. As for the results of the police investigation, it appears that Elisa Lam's family had no objections. They filed a lawsuit against the Cecil Hotel on September 19, 2013, accusing the hotel of negligence, alleging that the tragedy was a result of the hotel's failure to lock the water tank, lack of supervision in the elevator, inadequate precautions on the rooftop, and the absence of timely assistance when a customer displayed abnormal behavior. However, the hotel's management believed that the fault did not lie with the hotel. They pointed out that the hotel's stairwells had safety doors that would trigger an alarm if accessed by non-staff members, and external fire escapes were in place for emergency use, accessible to anyone. In the end, the judge ruled in favor of the hotel, dismissing the wrongful death lawsuit, attributing this to be a tragic incident involving a deeply troubled young woman. However, this conclusion sparked widespread debate among internet users. Many believed that Elisa might have been the victim of foul play, and there were numerous inconsistencies in the case. For instance, the 4-minute surveillance video released by the Los Angeles police featured a timestamp in the lower left corner, but it appeared to be intentionally blurred, making it difficult to discern the exact time. Tech-savvy netizens compared the timestamp in the video to a normal running clock, and found that the timestamp in the released video had been manipulated, and that parts of the footage had been slowed down. This raised suspicions about the authorities' motives for altering the video. Were they concealing something? And if so, what was it? Furthermore, as mentioned by the hotel previously, the location of Elisa Lam's death, the water tank on the hotel rooftop, was not easily accessible to the general public. Visitors discovered that there were 3 pathways to reach the rooftop. The first involved using the fire escape stairs, of which there were 3 sets. However, ascending to the rooftop via these stairs presented a significant challenge for a single young woman. The second pathway to the rooftop was a locked door with access controlled by hotel staff. The third option was the staff-only route, equipped with an alarm system that would trigger if someone attempted to use it. Given these obstacles, it's highly unlikely that Elisa Lam could have reached the rooftop by herself without being detected. It is more plausible that someone familiar with the hotel's layout facilitated her access to the rooftop. In June 2013, the Los Angeles police released the complete autopsy report, raising even more questions. Some experts noted that the report didn't directly address the results of rape or fingerprint analysis and lacked details about the testing procedures. The report indicated signs of subcutaneous blood accumulation in Elisa's genital area, which could suggest sexual assault. However, experts also pointed out that such signs could occur during the decomposition and bloating of a body. It is noteworthy that on June 15th, the conclusion provided in the report was accidental death. However, 3 days later, on June 18th, it was changed to undetermined. Subsequently, in the final official report, it was reverted back again to accidental death. The ambiguity in the report raised suspicions about the police's own uncertainties. Given the numerous doubts and discrepancies in the case, the conclusion that Elisa Lam's death was an accidental drowning is far from convincing. However, if the victim's family doesn't challenge the police's conclusions, no further investigation will be conducted. For this reason, although 10 years have passed since Elisa Lam's case, the police's conclusion remains unconvincing. The question of whether Elisa's death was a suicide, an accident, or a murder remains unanswered, leaving many hoping for the truth to eventually come to light.